Hello, and welcome back to What We Pod in the Shadows, where we are currently discussing Season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows. I'm Raven.
And I'm Alison.
This week we are discussing the episode The Wellness Center. But before we get into that, just a reminder to, if you haven't already, to follow/subscribe to the podcast and leave us a comment or a review if you haven't already. It would really help us to get pushed out there to more folks who might enjoy the pod.
And also, we have another podcast, Mojo Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, where we are rewatching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and the classic Powerpuff Girls, and we're currently on season 3 of Powerpuff Girls, so you can check us out on that podcast also.
Yeah, and sometimes we talk about vampires on there too.
Okay, so this is season 3, episode 8, The Wellness Center. It is Ascension Day for Nandor when he was crowned Supreme Viceroy for Alcanador. The whole house makes it a big deal with costumes and decorations and dancing, and Colin is a belly dancer. The theme song is presumably in Nandor's native language. This year everyone is excited, but Nandor is unenthused. Laszlo and Nadja reckon he's depressed. He says he doesn't have anything to show for being around as long as he has. He has no life partner, and he still has roommates. No living children. Guillermo comes to the conclusion Nandor is in crisis because he's immortal. Nadja tries to show him he is useful by having him collect dues from a group that is behind in paying. He angrily agrees to do it.
Nadja basically admits that it's shit work and no one likes to do it, but they're trying to, hype him up and make him feel important. Nandor reluctantly goes to do that, but rejects Guillermo's offer to go with him. Nandor flies there, and it's a vampire wellness center run by a vampire named Jan, played by iconic voice actress Cree Summer. Jan runs a dance class or an aerobics class or something, and Nandor tells her that her dues are way overdue, but Jan denies being a vampire and shows that she's pulled out her fangs. She says she and her vampiric coven have become human again. Nandor tries to get her dues, but Jan convinces him to join her and her coven in their journey to become human again, which is clearly a cult.
Okay, so I have down it was they haven't paid their dues in 132 years. I'm just thinking they're not a part of your group. Why would you, how much are we even talking about? And then, she's kind of trying to make a big show out of, drinking a glass of water and eating an apple and stuff in front of him because she's human now.
Yeah.
Guillermo wants to go with Nandor, but he instead relieves him of his duties. Guillermo begs Nandor to make him a vampire before he goes. Nandor refuses because he says vampirism is a curse. A month later, Nandor's former roommates talk about how it's changed since he's gone. Laszlo and Nadja say there's no constant weeping, while Colin reports he moved into Nandor's room and has been rubbing his butt and farting on everything to apply his scent. Guillermo, however, says it's been tough and doesn't even know where Nandor has gone. Cue the montage at the wellness center with a bare naked lady song. I think it's just called 1 Week.
I think so too.
Nandor takes How to Be Human classes. They pull out their incisors every night and do lots of aerobic type classes. Also, Nandor has cut his hair into a lovely bob, and he's in a relationship with Jan.
Yeah, and Nandor says because he's not using his powers, he's lost at cornhole 123 times in a row.
He's very delighted at having lost at cornhole, too.
Guillermo is concerned about Nandor and wants to go looking for him and searches this old room for clues, and Colin gives him a pamphlet about the wellness center that has a note that says something like, "In case any of you idiot assholes care." Guillermo shows up at the wellness center under the guise of working out, but they're immediately suspicious because they don't know him. Jan orders the wellness center vamps to check Guillermo's bags, and they're filled with vampire hunting gear that he brought just in case. She orders all the humans to attack and kill Guillermo over the PA system. Guillermo flings garlic at everyone in the room, save for Nandor. He grabs Nandor to make him escape with him, and Nandor apologizes profusely to the other defanged vamps. Guillermo fights off all the vampires with his gear and also a hula hoop. Nandor is horrified by him fighting all his new friends, but Guillermo buckles him into the car.
Nandor says he didn't need rescuing, and Guillermo defends his actions by saying it was self-defense. Guillermo says he's been brainwashed. Nandor says he had been happy there and felt like he finally belonged somewhere. He attempts to leave, but Guillermo has installed silver rope to the seatbelt. Back at the vampire house, Guillermo reveals to the group Nandor is in a cage in the basement.
Nadja sends Colin to get books from the Vampire Council on brainwashing. The other vamps are horrified to see that Nandor has pulled his fangs out. They basically all agree that Nandor needs to be deprogrammed and then leave him alone in the dark. Back at the wellness center, Jan's followers freak out because Jan promised to keep them safe and they feel lied to. To distract them from overthrowing her, Jan declares that now they are all ready to walk out in the sun again because they're human enough now. She takes them to the roof and locks them outside where they all burn to death in the sun. And then it seems like she just goes back to planning another scheme.
Yeah, she kind of just turned into a bat. She herself did not go in the sun. I'm not sure it was necessary to kill everyone. She could have just left.
Yeah, just booked it out of there in bat form.
So, them kind of doing the aerobics, it reminds me, I had to look up what movie it was because I've never seen it, but I've just seen the clip of the aerobics scene. But it's John Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis doing aerobics and pastel crap. So apparently it's from this movie called Perfect in 1985. But it just kind of with all the pastel clothing, and it just sort of reminded me of that movie. I can kind of see Nandor. I don't know. He kind of has a duality to him because he seems sweet, but he's this conqueror. So then him sort of following for a cult doesn't really make sense because he's supposed to be a leader, but
yeah,
he's just so desperate to kind of I don't know, be a part of something. And I mean, him and Jan were together. It's also be with a woman. I don't know. It just kind of occurred to me too. It's kind of like when Brad Pitt's dating somebody and he gets the same hairstyle as the girl that he's with. He kind of really tries to get into what they like. So it makes sense in a way, I guess. But I don't know. Him being the Nandor the Relentless side of him doesn't really make sense for that, though.
Yeah.
Because he would have been the leader.
Yeah, instead he was perfectly happy with being Jan's number 2.
Yeah, I guess I forgot to. I think I meant to say something about cue the number 2 jokes. Because he was saying something about, well, at home, they would be making fun of the number 2 jokes. I think, too, it's I don't know, the vampire house, I don't know if it's just kind of largely Nadja and Laszlo, but they kind of just make fun of everybody. Or it just seems like when someone is in kind of maybe mental peril, they don't want to listen or they're very dismissive. So
yeah, 90% of the time they're not very good friends to each other.
Yeah, kind of not sure why they all live together.
Yeah. It just seems like in order for them to even want to help each other, it has to escalate to a crazy amount, just absolutely go overboard. And then they're like, oh shit, maybe we should help out.
Yeah, it's they kind of do realize, oh, I do sort of feel for this person or I like this person. And maybe if they'd just been halfway decent to that person the whole time, that maybe they wouldn't be in this spot.
Indeed.
Also, this kind of being fitness thing, this isn't the first time we've seen Nandor, that 24-hour gym he was attending before. And then I think there is workout equipment in the house that's his.
Yeah.
So that part is on brand for him, but I'm just not sure, Nandor the Conqueror, Nandor the Relentless, sorry, that makes sense for him to fall for a cult. I kind of getting in a way why he doesn't want to turn Guillermo, though, because, like, I know he said that vampirism is a curse. And I mean, I think part of him did believe this cult, like, maybe could turn him back to human, but he wishes he wasn't a vampire.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Do you think he would have walked into the sunlight?
I don't know. I'm slightly afraid he would have.
I kind of feel like he would have too. I think though, like he would have went with Jan.
Yeah.
But she stayed behind, so I don't know. I don't know if he would have fell for it, like just running blindly out there. But if she was also going to do it, I think he would have done it with her.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we will end our discussion here. Thank you all so much for listening. Next time we are going to be discussing the penultimate episode of season 3, which is called A Farewell. So you might want to go ahead and watch that ahead of time so we don't spoil the whole thing for you. And just again, ask if you haven't already to follow or subscribe to the podcast, depending on what platform you're listening to it on, and leave a comment or review. We might even read it on the podcast.
Smash all those buttons for us.
Yeah. So until next time, remember, you're dead and out of this world. Goodbye.
Goodbye.